and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my book reviews for the books I have read during the month of January. Hello, if you are new around here, my name is Caroline, and if you didn't know, I have set myself a reading goal for 2023 to read 50 books this year, which is gonna be a bit of a challenge because last year, 2022, I set myself the reading goal of 30 books and I think I got to 21, so we were already starting off not in a good place, because I essentially thought that would be, you know, one book a week, or if I'm doing audiobooks and reading books at the same time, should work. I'm hoping. I really want to read 50 books this year. I have the longest to be read list ever. I'm sure this is the same with a lot of people out there where you just constantly buy books. Amazon is the worst because especially with Kindle books, where I have like a list on my Amazon account of books I want to read, and I'll get emails regularly saying, oh, if you buy it now it's 30% off, or this book's now 99p. So I buy it, and then my Kindle is currently filled with books I haven't read, and so I want to read 50 books this year to try and get through some of these books because I'm spending more money and not reading any of them. So with that being said, I've read 6 books so far this month, which I think is quite good. I'm filming this on the 26th of January, so we have 5 days left of the month, so I could finish a book in those next 5 days, but that'll be in my February book review video because I have no other time to film this video, so it has to be now. I don't think 6 is too bad. I think 6 is quite good considering. I've got my phone here, which I've opened my Goodreads account, which has all the books I have read this year because I would never remember the books I've read. If you wanted to follow me, I'll link my Goodreads link below if you want to give me a follow over there. So the books I have read this year so far, I'll read them out to you and then we will talk about them afterwards. So I've read The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. I've listened to 'Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas by Adam Kay. I read The Taken Girls by G.D. Sanders. Listened to This Is Vegan Propaganda. I read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. And I listened to Be That Unicorn by Jenny Block. You will see there is quite a mix of books there. My favourite type of book is like a thriller, you know, a huge twist at the end type book. I do really enjoy non-fiction. I tend to listen to non-fiction books. I prefer to listen to non-fiction over fiction, just because I tend to listen to books when I'm getting ready for the day, after, you know, during my shower, after the shower when I'm like getting dressed and stuff, if I'm doing like house chores. And I find that if I'm listening to a fiction book, I might leave the room to grab something and the book will still be playing. And if it's a fiction book, I'll have missed on like some really key information, where if it's a non-fiction or an autobiography or something, you don't really miss that much, so it's not that bad. So that's my preference there. I use the app BorrowBox for listening to books. It's a free app, it's a free service, it links to your library, and yeah, you can just listen to books for free. You can also read books as well. You can download ebooks as well, which I'm currently doing at the minute. The only issue with BorrowBox though is that because it's linked to your library, and I don't understand this at all, because it's linked to your library, you can't listen to or read a book if it's already on loan. I don't understand it because it's all computer generated, so surely if someone's listening to the book, you know, it's on a computer, so why does it matter? You know, I don't understand why that happens. So there is one book I really want to listen to, but it's not available till 2024. So that's annoying. You can reserve it, so it's not the end of the world. And then another annoyance with the BorrowBox is that there's lots of books that are not on the app. So there's loads of books I'd love to listen to that are not there. So I have listened to some books I wouldn't usually have chosen, but I guess that's probably a good thing. It makes me branch out a bit more. So the first book I read this year is The 5-Second Rule, although I do have to say I did start reading this in 2022 and finished it in 2023, but it still counts. So the book is called The 5-Second Rule, Transform Your Life, Work and Confidence with Everyday Courage. And it's basically, I'm going to just read the description, a brief description, because I'm no good at like summarising myself. Throughout your life, you've had parents, coaches, teachers, friends, and mentors who have pushed you to be better than your excuses and bigger than your fears. What if the secret to having the confidence and courage to enrich your life and work is simply knowing how to push yourself? Mel Robbins will explain the power of a push moment. Then she'll give you one simple tool so you can use to become your greater self. And it goes on. I'm not going to read the whole thing, otherwise I'll be here all day. But yeah, so it is a very, very insightful book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars is because the book is a bit odd. because it's got loads of snippets of like people's experiences, like Twitter statuses or emails and things that people have written in. And I found that a little bit unnecessary, I think. Also, there was a bit of a touch on like a religious side of it, which I'm not a religious person, I didn't see the benefit of that in the book, but obviously that's my own preference there. But yeah, I did really like the book. The preface is that if you want to get something done and you can't get the motivation to get up and do it, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just get up and go. You don't give yourself a second to not do it, basically. I've been using it and it has been working for me, although there have been times when I've forgotten about the method and I'll be sitting there minding my own business and be like, I should get up and do something. And then I go, oh yeah, if I'd done the 5-second rule 20 minutes ago, I would have been finished this thing I wanted to get done. So yeah, it's a good book if you want to help improve your motivation and improve your to-do list, because I'm getting through my to-do list a lot better now I'm implementing the 5-second rule. But like I said, I just need to remember to do it because I do forget about it quite regularly. The next book I listened to was on BorrowBox, and I listened to that actually at the same time as reading the 5-second rule, and it was Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas by Adam Kay. I read his book This Is Going to Hurt many moons ago, I can't remember when, and it's a really good book. I really recommend it. It's an insight into how NHS, mainly gynecology departments work. Some amazing stories in there and some stories in there. I do really recommend it. There was also a BBC dramatisation of the book. Again, I really recommend it. Twas a Night Shift Before Christmas, I gave it 3 stars, mainly because I feel like it wasn't as good as the original one, and because it's all Christmas based, I think some of the stories may have been repeated in This Is Going to Hurt, because some of the stories I'm sure I had read before. So yeah, I didn't give it the best. There is a new book out by him called Undoctored, which I have got on my to be read list, but I have got that down because I do really rate Adam Kay as an author. I think it's great to see how the NHS worked, and yeah, so I don't know if I recommend Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas, but I do recommend This Is Going to Hurt if you have the stomach for it. And also if you're pregnant, don't read it until after you've had your baby, because you don't need to know the gory details of giving birth before you've given birth. The next book I read was The Taken Girls. So this was a book that I had on my Kindle, which I downloaded, I don't know when, and I created this wheel. I'm going to show this to you now, which I have only used once, but I've created a spinning wheel of all the books I want to read. Obviously I'm not going to do this, but if I was to use it, I would be reading E squared if I was going to be using this right this very second, but I'm not, so I'm not going to read that. But I spun this wheel because I finished my 5-second rule book and it came up with the book The Taken Girls, and yeah, it's not a very good book. I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty average, if I say so myself. It was supposed to be like a thriller type book, and it was okay. I don't know why I downloaded it. I think I must have downloaded it in a moment of madness, or it was free. It was okay, I wouldn't recommend it. The crux of it is, when a missing teenage girl reappears unharmed but pregnant, the case falls to D.I. Adina Ogborn, the newest recruit of Canterbury Police, and it goes on to explain what the storyline is. What did I like about it? I think it started off strong, but it just got a bit weak throughout, and I like books with twists and turns, and there wasn't really any in the book. Also, I don't really like books that have like a really strong police storyline in them. I find that, I don't know, books I've read where they have like this strong like detective and police storyline feel like they're too much of like wanting to be a BBC drama about police. And like part of this book at the end, for example, it talks about what the certain police staff are doing after the crime has been solved, and I just thought this doesn't add anything to the book, apart from if it was a TV show you would understand it and you might find it more useful as a TV show to sort of get more background on the characters, but in the book I thought it was a bit unnecessary. And yeah, the storyline in itself, is, like I said, the beginning starts off quite strong, and the perspective from the kidnapped girl, teenager, was a good perspective, but in general the storyline I found was a little bit weak, and probably not a book I would recommend unless you like the police storyline type book, but not my type of thing. The next book I listened to is This is Vegan Propaganda by Ed Winters. If you didn't know, I am vegan, my family is vegan, and I had seen this book bouncing around. I follow Ed on Instagram and I really rate Ed as a vegan speaker. He's very good at speaking, better than me, as you can tell. He's very good at explaining things. I love watching his debates on YouTube. If you do want to look him up, I would recommend him. He's called Earthling Ed. I will link his channel down below. If you want to look into the plant-based vegan lifestyle, I'd highly recommend him because he has an answer to all arguments from meat eaters. So I highly recommend it. The book is very insightful. I find being vegan in a meat eating world can be very tricky. Sometimes I find, again, this is me, not everyone, but sometimes I find as a vegan I need to remind myself why I'm vegan. If you are thinking about being vegan, or if you are vegan, I do really recommend this book. It's very insightful. There are some parts of it which are a little bit upsetting to listen to or read, depending on how you consume the content, but I do really recommend it. It does have, like I say, arguments for all questions that may come your way if you were to be plant-based, or if you have questions as a meat eater or vegetarian. If you are interested in the vegan lifestyle at all, and if you have any questions about it, I do really recommend listening or reading this book because it will answer all your questions. So yeah, recommend that one. The next book is actually a book this time, The Silent Patient. I have been hearing so much about this book on TikTok. It's just been burning a hole within me. I've been wanting to read it forever, and I haven't downloaded it on my Kindle, but I had planned to. And then I was unpacking a box. We moved house obviously in June last year, and we've still got boxes because I don't think we will ever not have boxes. Unpacking a box of books, and lo and behold, I had the book. And so I thought that was a sign. I was gonna spin my wheel after I'd finished reading The Taken Girls, but instead I was like, nope, I need to read The Silent Patient because everyone's talking about it. And I would say it's probably one of the best books I have read. The TikTok people are not lying. It is very good. If you like thrillers, it's very good. It's a bit slow at the beginning, but I think that's because it's an actual book. Because obviously I'm a mum of two, I find it hard to read a book. A Kindle I can read because I can just carry it around with me and I can just whip it out like I do my phone and just get reading. But with a book, you've actually got to like sit and turn pages, and you can't do that if you've got a sleeping baby on you. You can't do that one-handed. So yeah, I found it hard at the beginning, but the storyline is amazing. Like I say, if you like thrillers, it's one to reach for. Let me read you the small blurb. Alicia's life is seemingly perfect. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer. She lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, if you want a good thriller, check out The Silent Patient. And the final book I have listened to this month, which again, it's from BorrowBox, and because BorrowBox was a bit thin on the ground of choices that I wanted to listen to, because I was listening to it at the same time as reading The Silent Patient, I wanted a non-fiction. So I was just searching through, seeing what I could find. I did really want to listen to an autobiography or two, but I couldn't find any that I wanted to of people who interested me. So I ended up with the book called Be That Unicorn by Jenny Block. And one of my favourite quotes in life is "Be a flamingo in the flock of pigeons." You know, it's a sort of stand out from the crowd type quote. So that's why with this book, Be That Unicorn, I was really drawn to it. Well, I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. And again, the book description is, what would that unicorn do? This is a book that answers the question in every scenario. We should all want to be that unicorn because that unicorn is the best you, the best person really, the kind of person we're all drawn to. And it goes on to explain it. My concern with this book, right, is that it covered everything. And I was sort of like, it's got good nuggets in there, good bits that I found really insightful, but then it would talk about, for example, there's a whole chapter on dating and how to date as a unicorn. And obviously I'm married, so I was like, well, this isn't relevant to me. And because I was listening to it in the car as I was driving, I couldn't change it, so I had to sit and listen to this woman blather on about talking about dating. But it's all very a general book, and instead of like the 5-second rule, which is sort of a get up and go, this is how you can be more motivated, how you can be more productive, this one here was sort of like, it just covered every aspect of life, even if it wasn't relevant to you. And I just thought it seemed to be a bit airy-fairy instead of being very much like, if you want to stand out from the crowd, you should do this. It was just sort of if you don't like something, then just leave. Be the unicorn, be the, you know, I just thought, what are you talking about? So I gave it 2 stars because it did have some good tidbits in there. Not that I can remember them now, but yeah, there's too much wishy-washy stuff in there, so I wouldn't recommend that one very much, unless you like that type of thing, but it's not my kind of, it wasn't my favourite. So that's the 6 books I have read / listened to this month so far. So I've read 6 books out of 50, which is 12% of my overall goal. I have got a lot of books on my spinning wheel, and books that aren't even on the spinning wheel that I want to read as well. I've got so many books I want to read, but if you have any recommendations of books, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm always looking to add things to my list, because you can't read too many books, can you? So that is all the books I've read so far this month. I don't think I'm the best at reviewing books, but it's just a chatty video. I think it's also a way to keep myself accountable for actually reading books throughout this year, because I'm not going to reach my goal if I don't read the books. And so if I know I'm going to film a video every month to say what books I've read, then I know I've got to read books. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has been insightful. Don't forget to follow me on Goodreads. I have linked my link down below, and I'll also link the books down below as well if you want to check any of them out. I mean, obviously these are all my opinions. You may enjoy the books I don't like so much. It is what it is. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like these type of content, and hit that thumbs up button as well. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.